Oleksandr Usyk is back in the ring, but he's facing a kickboxer as opposed to a boxer. All of that here today in the preview show.
I like that.
In Giza, in the Egypt. What do we make of this fight, first and foremost? We've talked a little bit over the months building up to it now, but now we're right on the doorstep of the fight. How do we feel about the whole thing?
Personally, for me, it comes across as a good payday for Usyk. I'm not going to sit here and lie and pretend I know a lot about Rico Verhoeven. I know in terms of kickboxing, he's like the main man, but, coming over to fight who is one of the greatest fighters of all time in boxing, in Usyk, I only see it going one way for him, and that's being beaten and probably stopped. But
yeah,
I think more than likely on the weekend, that would be my prediction for it. But, it could be the ultimate shock, and you could have a kickboxer who's only had I think he's had one professional boxing fight before, which was about 12 years ago.
Stoppage win as well, 100% knockout.
But yeah, I think it'll show the quality of Usyk, I think, and the biggest thing for him, I think, is getting a big payday before he goes on to whatever's next, and he's probably got one or two maybe big fights left in the sport before he hangs them up. So it's always good to see Usyk in a fight. It's not necessarily the fight we want to see him in, but yeah, in terms of the overall card itself, though, it's one I'm quite looking forward to. And with I don't know how good the backdrop's going to look with the Pyramids of Giza, in terms of, because we had one in New York, there was a bit of a mess in the end, but hopefully this one looks and turns out to be better, and hopefully is more entertaining than that one as well, because I can remember that New York one being a bit of a bore fest. But
yeah, I mean, I think when you look at this fight, you can't blame Usyk, because it's a cracking payday, and he has done everything to earn the chance of a nicer, easier fight, good payday. He's taken all the fights that he needs to take at every step of his career so far. So I've got no blame for him. Rico Verhoeven, if you say, do you fancy fighting the heavyweight champion of the world for a good payday? You go, yeah, of course, absolutely. Why not?
Was it Jason Statham that got this fight over the line?
Apparently, yeah, he mentioned it to Turki, and then it got made. But
can I just say, though, I'm not buying this week the upset.
No, exactly. That's what I was going to.
They're going to sell it to us as he could, but I'm not buying it because it shouldn't happen.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, every Jake Paul fight ever, where we're supposed to believe that the opponent, I suppose, other than the Agit fight, the opponent is someone that is of merit to beat. I mean, I suppose in comparison to someone like Francis Ngannou, that obviously fought against Fury and did very well in that fight, you'd have to say it's no different to that. The only difference being that the WBC and the IBF have been willing to sanction the fight as heavyweight title defenses to a point where he does not deserve a chance to win. Yes, it's not happening. But if Rico Verhoeven won that fight, he would be the WBC and IBF champion of the world. Yes, they have sanctioned the fights as voluntary. Just vacate it. They've sanctioned the fights as voluntary defences for.
I thought it was just
for Usyk. So from that point of view, it's kind of like. Yeah, but it doesn't say that on BoxRec, but surely they have to, right? You can't just not fight with your titles on the line, right?
There's a good point you made there, mind, about when Fury fought in Ngannou was like the first sort of heavyweight sort of matchup of a crossover from different disciplines. But this is Oleksandr Usyk we're talking about. This guy, undoubtedly hasn't overlooked Rico one bit. He's probably gone into his training camp like he's probably training for like the trilogy against Fury. He's given it 100%, so he's going to win easily, and he should do. And if he doesn't, then questions probably will be asked about Usyk, about his future at the top of the sport. But it feels like when you look at boxing over the recent years of these sort of fights that we have, Fury and Ngannou was unbelievable in the fact of Ngannou knocked Fury down, and you couldn't believe it. Jake Paul was the sort of crossover fight that nobody wanted, but then when you watched it, it was like happy days, something's happened, and a lot of the boxing world was happy that night. And I feel like this one that comes around is just a normal sort of fight where you go, well, Usyk's done everything. He's fought everyone that he's had to fight, barring two names possibly. You can make the argument, Fabio Wardley, Agit, Kabayel. But they're in due course if Wardy beats Dubois in the rematch. But Rico, I'm not buying the fact of he can cause a massive upset. If he does, then fair play to the bloke. But he's fighting probably at the moment the second best pound for pound star in the world. And like Ben said, doing it in front of the pyramids in Giza I think it's going to be incredible just to watch it. And hopefully they design it in a way that throughout the fight, all you can see is the three pyramid. I don't know how they set up the pyramids. Are they literally right next door to each other, or is there quite a gap in between them?
You can see them from one another, so they could find the right camera angles. Yeah, but
so hopefully they do it like that. But yeah, look, Usyk's taking this 100% seriously because he's still got time left at the top of the sport, I feel like, and there's still fights out there for him, and he's just taking this fight as a bit of a payday with no risk to it.
Yeah, I just double checked. So the IBF aren't sanctioning it as a title defense, but they're not stripping him. Same with the WBA, but the WBC are sanctioning this as a world title fight. So he could win a world title if by some miracle
and then,
thing that's
they've
just
got a special belt for as well. I guarantee you they've got a special belt.
But if that happens,
they've got some WCB.
I know I said I wouldn't entertain it.
Pyramids on it.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
But
you don't have to say it.
No, but if that does happen,
you said it.
What happens if you're Agit Kabayel? What do you do there?
Well, you take the Verhoeven fight and you go,
exactly.
There you go, free world title and a cracking payday.
Though, thank God.
Exactly. I think this does fall under the category of it just doesn't need saying what if.
But we did it for Jake Paul, mind, against Anthony Joshua. A lot.
You might have done. You love a what if, but
I love a what if. That's our job, though, isn't it?
I'm not. No,
it is. As journalists, you got to ask that question.
I don't think
what
so.
If?
I think when you're looking at a sporting spectacle where Usyk will win this fight, the one thing Verhoeven's got on his side that Ngannou didn't is that kickboxing, the way it is as a sport,
he can kick.
He is far more. Well, he could kick him in the face. No, he's far more used to kind of punching through the target as opposed to MMA, where it is the striking is very different because it's about you kind of stun the opponent because you haven't got this big padded glove on. So in many ways, he'll be more used to taking those punches where the aim is to go through the target as opposed to where we saw AJ versus Ngannou. He punched right through Ngannou and knocked him out by doing so. But that isn't going to happen. We've seen the way Usyk has tactically, technically dismantled world champions. And people say, but Verhoeven's biggest strength is he's not going to be orthodox. There's a reason fighters fight a certain way. Yeah. It's because it's effective. And if you're talking about Usyk, who has beaten everyone and anything that's been thrown at him, no matter what weird, unorthodox spectacle Verhoeven decides to start doing, it's either going to be ineffective or Usyk's seen it before.
And I think all I hope as well is when you watch the fight and you listen, I hope there isn't the sort of build of Verhoeven's in the 6th round here. He's doing well. Usyk goes through his methods, don't he?
He works out of it. You can't.
They're going to have to try and build.
You can't sit on commentary and go and say, "Well, this is a rubbish fight." Yeah. Your job is to add to the action. You can't take away from it. And if the commentators are sat there going, "Yeah, but this is rubbish," then it's going to kill the event. So they've got to play the game, but it is a game.
Yeah,
this isn't a serious fight. This is a spectacle, and it's not the first time it's been done. I believe Muhammad Ali, George Foreman both fought in exhibition fights during their career. Previously, when boxing wasn't the sport it is now, exhibition fights were the thing you kind of did once you got over the hump. You would then
look at Floyd Mayweather
after you were fighting. No, I'm talking like early 1900s. Yeah. People would, once the fighters stopped fighting the very best, they'd go on like circus circuits and they'd fight fights for no title, no belt, and it would just be for the spectacle. So it's not a new thing, but when it's your world heavyweight champion, it's a little bit frustrating.
But you can.
But again, I don't really blame Usyk because he's been offered the fight and the sanctioning bodies have sanctioned it. I blame the WBC for going, yeah, you're more than welcome to fight Verhoeven, but you can't keep your title. I don't want a paper champion, but you shouldn't be able to just fight whoever you want and keep hold of your titles.
What's Agit Kabayel now? Is he
WBC interim?
Yeah. So he doesn't even have to have an eliminator to fight Usyk next.
No.
So he could literally have a warm-up fight against someone like he had in January, and then end of the year fight.
I think that's the fight you have to make.
Yeah, but if it doesn't,
I think it'll be Usyk Kabayel at the end of the year.
It has to be. There's no other fight out there that makes sense for Usyk at this point in his career, because Fury AJ, well, he's never going to fight AJ again.
Or Fury.
Well, exactly. But
I think there's a possibility he fights Fury again. If Fury beats Joshua.
I just don't want to see it.
I don't, but I think there's a possibility for the payday.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
I think it'd be Kabayel and Fury as his last two.
Yeah, quite possibly. But I think the Agit Kabayel fight is such an intriguing fight, really. I think style-wise, he's able to cause a few more problems than Dubois was to Usyk. I don't necessarily think he's going to cause like the ultimate problem that would cause Usyk a loss, but
he'll be there longer.
I do think Kabayel has a bit more style-wise, that engine, the way we've seen him take a shot in his last fight and get through that. And yeah, I think that would be a really exciting fight, particularly in Germany or Poland, somewhere where Usyk's fans can travel to, and kind of a happy medium in Poland, I think would be great to watch.
Yeah.
The undercard I'm more looking forward to with this.
That's what you're paying your 25 quid for, isn't
Yes, the undercard is worth watching.
I'm not going to be paying to watch this because I'm going to be watching the true heavyweight king this weekend.
You should know this, Harry.
Oh, is Moses Johnny's fight?
He's
fighting the boy.
Is he?
He's fighting the
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, like you say, the undercard is a little bit more exciting.
It's where you get your monies.
In the sense of, Torrez Jr., Frank Sanchez.
I completely forgot that was even on his card. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to that fight.
I think it's because it was announced that it was in negotiations,
and
then it kind of got postponed, and it didn't feel like they were ever going to make that fight, and then this opportunity came up and it's been made, and it's for the IBF mandatory. And like you said, Ben, in the last episode, you can't see Usyk taking that fight because commercially it makes no sense, and we know the IBF love a paper champion, so it will likely be that the winner of that fight will find themselves with a world title around their waist. And I mean, on paper, I suppose it's a reasonably well matched fight.
It's a hard one to call, I think.
Harry's looking a bit.
Is it?
I'm in an R in. I know you were a big fan of Richard Torres Jr.'s.
Listen, America is crying out for a big heavyweight star, aren't they, at the moment? And I think, Frank Sanchez in his last fight, the knee sort of support he had on, apparently he still got it.
It was his penultimate fight, isn't it? Against Kabayel. He's fought once since.
Has he fought once since Kabayel?
Yeah.
Okay, so he didn't look great against Kabayel, didn't he? He looks like he's slowed down. The footwork's not there anymore. And
but who does look good against Kabayel? I take what you mean. I don't. He's certainly not at his best.
Fighter, Sanchez.
But he's stubborn and
when you
durable.
say on paper you've only lost to Agit Kabayel, it kind of is null and void because he's very, very good.
Yeah, but when you look at him in the ring now, compared to what he was like, it goes. I think you have to favour Torres Jr. in this fight. On Saturday night.
I agree narrowly.
Really, narrowly. I think he's heavy favourites, mind. I don't know what the bookies' odds are, but if I'm a bookmaker, I'm putting Torres Jr.'s odds quite high, and I don't really know how odds work, to be honest, but I would put him. That when you see those like 7-4, I don't know how that works, like something like that.
Fair enough.
I don't know, and then
not a numbers man.
No, definitely not.
You won't be keeping your money for very long.
No, exactly. That's why I probably won't make that my profession when I get older. But no, I think Torres Jr. I can agree with the fact that this is probably his first real big test. I think
the Vianello
was
big
his. People probably overlook that. Vianello is a tough opponent and is someone I'm expecting to fight a timer next. So to get through him, and I think I talked about it being a bit too soon for Torres Jr. fighting Vianello back when they fought. But yeah, I'm a big fan of him. I expect him to get through this on Saturday night. I'll be shocked if he doesn't. But I think with the sort of opportunity ahead of him now of potentially fighting, Usyk, Hrgovic, Shatamo, who knows? I think that will give him a lot of, positivity going into the fight. But for Sanchez, with the injuries that he sustained in the past, how old is he? He's early 30s, isn't he?
Yeah,
Sanchez?
I think so. Yeah.
So you can't even say like this is his last roll of the dice. But with the way he looks in the ring now, you look at it and go, if he loses this, then is he the sort of fighter that up and coming stars look to fight maybe? But It should be an interesting watch.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm not quite as extreme on the. I think Richard Torres Jr. is the favourite, and I think his movement, his mobility.
I'm going to search up about 7-4.
Will certainly prove to be, his strength in this fight is the fact that he is the more mobile heavyweight. He was very recently a top amateur in I think silver medalist, wasn't he? So he's a great fighter, but in the heavyweight division, I think Sanchez probably does have the ability to maybe find a couple of the right shots, and then I think it is anyone's fight. So I backed Torres Jr. to do it, but I'm not quite as confident.
I think Torres Jr. over the period of the fight, is it 10 rounds or 12 rounds? It's surely 12 rounds, isn't it? So over 12 rounds, I think he has to take it to the latter rounds, Torres Jr. Because I think Sanchez would be hungry for the opening 4 rounds, and then I feel like he'll tire and Torres Jr. will come on top and
I think the agility
possibly finish him late.
The agility and movement of Torres Jr. is going to be the difference. Yeah, I think
he's the quicker. So apparently, 7-4 odds. If you put a £4 stake on,
you get 7 back.
You get 7 back. So that's how much?
£11.
Well done,
including your stake. Did you know? I thought you just didn't know how they came to those odds.
Yeah.
I didn't know you just didn't know maths.
I don't bet, so I wouldn't know the odds.
Well, there you go.
The only times I bet is when it's like 66-1, because I know what that means.
I'm gonna put that up on TikTok just for anyone else.
I'll delete it straight away. Listen, you learn something.
You're
new
being
on the
informative.
podcast,
I'm looking forward to that fight, but also
I try and make it fun. We're not a serious podcast at the end of the day. After what I heard about the last review show at the start, I do apologise.
So to go off of that, Frank Sanchez. I suppose this fight is exciting because it is really a world title fight, because almost certainly whoever wins this fight will find themselves with the world title around their waist, and that affects what the heavyweight picture, it affects what fighters that are up and coming exciting, the likes of Moses Taum or even Daniel Dubois, Fabio Wardley, fighters like that do in the near future. It is based off of the winner of this fight. So from that point of view, it is exciting, and Hamzah Sheeraz finds himself with an opportunity to pick up his world title now at super middleweight against
and he should do it.
Begic. And again, you expect him to do so.
He should do it rather emphatically, I feel like. If this fight goes beyond 4 rounds, I'll be very shocked. Especially the performance that he had against Berlanga in the summer. Last summer was sort of, okay, he's announced himself here. He's beaten a name that he on paper should beat, and he did it, unbelievably in New York, wherever it was. I expect him to get through it quite easily on Saturday night. It's the perfect fight for him. It is for a world title, isn't it?
Yeah, yes. WBO.
It's the perfect world title fight. If you wanted a world title fight to have as your first, this is the sort of one where you go, yeah, we'll have it, because you look at his opponent, who he's been in with compared to Hamzah Sheeraz.
Yeah, and
Hamzah Sheeraz has 7-4 odds as well, by the way.
Does he?
No.
There you go. But it just like Sheeraz's ability, now that he's up at super middleweight where he looks comfortable, now he's working with Andy Lee, that style-wise...
That's such a good pairing, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a perfect pairing. You've got to say he's kind of got the world at his feet again now, doesn't he?
Yeah, and if he can obviously get the job done this weekend, pick up that world title, I think you could be looking at a big fight and big payday next with Canelo's obviously fighting later in the year. Could maybe have one last fight there at super middleweight between them two as well. Have that out in Saudi Arabia. Have sort of the young new star against Canelo would be.
I feel like that's going to be
a good one to do.
That's probably going to be in the back of his mind, isn't it? All week for Sheeraz we're talking about sort of thinking he's easily going to get through him. But in the back of his mind, he's thinking about Canelo, and the way you get a Canelo fight is by looking good. He has to look good on Saturday night, in my opinion. He has to get the stoppage win. If he doesn't, then that Canelo fight slowly moves away. Maybe Canelo looks at that going...
Or maybe Canelo looks at it as a more favourable fight. If you go in there and start you in one, maybe Canelo goes...
Billy as well.
And exactly, but like Ben said, he's got a tough opponent in Billy.
But in Billy, Sheeraz would be a great fight to watch. That's a really fan-friendly affair.
I think my fight of the year last year was in Billy Martinez.
It was a great fight. That was a really good fight.
Really
so,
good.
In terms of that, and like you say, we're hoping and we're expecting, I think, a little bit of a show of a performance from Sheeraz where he goes, "Yeah, I'm here. This is me." pay attention type vibe. But you know, you have to perform on the night. You're only as good as your last performance, and his last performance is very good. But you know, he has to take it into this one. And then you've got Jack Catterall versus Shakram Giyasov as well, which I think is the WBA eliminator perhaps, or an interim. I can't remember the two. I'll double check in a second. But yeah, Jack Catterall, this is an interesting one because I mean, Catterall's win at welterweight against Eko Esserman was really impressive. But you know, how good is he? We've seen him previously at world level, but you know, how good can he be?
He's been waiting as well, hasn't he? It feels like he's been waiting around, and I want to say, when he waiting for Devin Haney? Oh, but
he was
there a
calling,
way?
I think he was calling that fight out for a while.
I swear I heard somewhere online that.
Well, he picked up the WBO Global. He picked up the WBO Global from Eko Esserman.
Yeah, well, and this is an eliminator now for that.
WBA, I believe.
WBA, okay.
Who is the WBA champ?
Just working on it right now. You bear with us, boys. Just going into the
listen,
into
Jack
the library
Catterall,
doing some research.
as much as
Giyasov's a tough fight as well.
As much as you can't believe that they're fighting at the Pyramids, you can't believe that Jack Catterall's landed a slot on this fight card. It's like, fair play to the guy, and he'll take his opportunity, hopefully. And you know, as a Brit going abroad, you want him to win and all that because you want more world champions from Britain. But it's a tough fight. I think Giyasov is definitely that opponent that you got to be in it for the long run. I feel like with Jack Catterall, he's not going to shift early. It's going to be a fight that goes back and forth. I think
it goes the distance.
Rolly Romero is your champion. There you go.
At WBA, so yeah, it wouldn't be bad for either man, really.
Rolly Romero was always on that Times Square card, wasn't he? That we talked about earlier.
He was,
that we pray that isn't like when the last time they did.
With the pyramids, there was a point where it was all the talk in the boxing world was essentially about where we were getting fights. Moreover than what fights we were getting, there was talk of
the Coliseum
Alcatraz. There was talk of the Coliseum. And obviously they did the Times Square card, and this is a kind of another one of those. I guess they are novelty venues, but
it'll never happen again.
I guess it adds a little like 1 or 2% onto a fight, doesn't it? It's a little bit more exciting because it's happening in a cool place.
Yeah, you might never see it again, so it does add that bit to it. Even though the New York one wasn't as good as they probably made out, but also I don't know if realistically it was ever going to look like you couldn't just have it as like an open spectacle in the middle of Times Square for everyone to just be looking at as they're walking past.
I thought that's what they sold it as, mind.
Yeah, I think that's like the dream. That's the dream picture you had in your head, but also it would have just descended into chaos because you would have just had people
serious
everywhere,
crowd problems.
Yeah.
People getting squished, people trying to get in the ring. There'll be all sorts of carnage.
And I feel like it could end up the same. It's gonna obviously have to be heavily like guarded in some way.
Just hope that you can see the pyramids in the background all the time.
I think it'll be, from the TV camera angle, it'll just look like a ring with some people around it, and then every so often you'll get a nice high drone shot with the.
I don't even. I honestly, if you didn't
pyramids.
know it was in Egypt, you might not even realise
I think
until
so,
they do the drone
I think
shots.
so. But Catterall Giyasov, what do we think of the fight? Where do we think? What do you think is a matchup? Is it a close fight?
I think it'll be a good competitive fight. Giyasov's not like he's no slouch. He's not going to turn up just to, take part in. For both men, this is very much an opportunity for them to get that cracker world title. Catterall's been so close so many times and has fell short or been very unlucky at points in his career, but this definitely is an easy fight and a gimme fight on Saturday. Giyasov's going to be turning up with the full game plan of this is my time to change my life and make sure I'm kicking on towards that world title next.
Especially after you found out about Rolly Romero. The winner potentially faces him. It's like, okay.
With Paro fighting Crocker, other than that one, you would say this is the winnable world title in the division. You're not rocking up to Devin Haney or to Ryan Garcia necessarily and expecting to be able to turn them over. So this is the gilt edge opportunity in the
But rankings. Even with the Devin Haney fight, you're getting a good payday at least more than anything. And they're both gonna look at Devin Haney as I'm. Like Catterall has called his name before already, so they'll definitely be confident that they can make that jump and be the one to beat him. But yeah, I think it's a big fight for both men, because I think more so Catterall, because if he loses on Saturday, it's difficult, I think, to get yourself going again to try and have another run again towards our world title. Whereas with Giyasov, I feel like he could dust himself off and come again, where Catterall's he's been there so many times. If he falls short again and doesn't quite make it, it's hard then to get yourself going.
Yeah, I would agree. More. I think it feels like he's had. In many ways, it feels like he's done unbelievably well to come back again at this time. And so, like you say, if he's not able to do it now, it would feel like, can he start to build back up again? But, you know, off the back of the Eko Esserman performance, like I say, you are only as good as your last performance. And in terms of that welterweight debut against Eko Esserman, who at the time looked unstoppable.
He's just beating Josh Taylor.
Yeah. And he in to stop him as well and show a level of power that we hadn't necessarily seen of him. Light welterweight, I think is promising, but like you say, I wouldn't count them out. This is probably for me the hardest one to call between these two. I'm not that confident about the outcome of this one.
The main event as well, possibly. Yeah.
For those on the video version, he said that with tongue in cheek, because we're not believing that for a moment.
Well, we got to balance.
But what if?
Exactly. You've got to ask that question. I'm sure Usyk will be asked that about 15 million times this week.
Absolutely. We'll get onto our predictions in a moment. But the other fight on this card that's quite interesting is Mizuki Hiruta, the WBO super flyweight Japanese fighter.
Ring ambassador as well.
Ring ambassador. But also, obviously, we haven't seen a huge amount of female fighters populate the Riyadh season and Ring magazine card. So I think from that point of view, obviously we saw Sky Nicholson, Raven Chapman, wasn't it, in Saudi Arabia?
That might have been the first.
Was the first one we saw. But she's a really exciting fighter. She's top, and it's just nice to kind of have that on there as an opportunity to showcase that, and like you say, as a Ring ambassador. I feel like
it's our first time actually seeing her fight as well, because a lot of her fights in the States you can't really watch, because I tried to watch her last night to see what her last performance was like, and you can't really find anything anywhere. But no, it would be good to see her in action. She's coming up against a decent puncher as well, I want to say, in the Australian she's fighting, so should make for a decent watch. And
yeah, true,
be funny
4 or 5 knockouts on a bounce.
To be a Ring ambassador as well, that comes with pressure, and particularly with the fact of you're actually going to be fighting on. It is a Ring card, ain't it, this weekend?
Yes, yeah.
That comes with pressure, and hopefully she can deliver. And it's always great to see female boxers having opportunities on big cards, because I feel like whenever they have an opportunity on an undercard, that's the fight you talk about the most, because it's probably the most entertaining. And yeah, hopefully that lives up to it on Saturday.
I think it probably will. It probably will. With the Ring magazine on the line as well, they want that to be
definitely
a good advertisement for that. So the predictions. We'll work.
We'll leave the main event, because I'm not.
We'll work from the bottom to the top. So we'll start off with that one with Hiruta Solomon. Are we all expecting Hiruta to defend her title successfully?
Yeah. I think you're going to go Hiruta decision. I think more than likely. She's only got the 2 stoppages in the 10, and
yeah, I was going to say, to go back to Harry in his betting odds, you wouldn't get great odds on a Hiruta.
I don't know if she'd be set to 4 on the stoppage.
We are teaching people some stuff today. I'm quite surprised we haven't talked about the history of the pyramids, or I'm quite disappointed that we haven't been able to give a full background on it.
They were built as tombs.
Did you see the video that they
did?
Their
pharaohs?
How if you put all the bricks on top of one another, DAZN I think did a video, and it goes into outer space and all, and then if you put them all flat out, it takes you to Oleksandr Usyk in a ring. I'll show you the video afterwards. I'm
guessing that's not scientifically done.
I think it's an AI video that DAZN have done. I don't know if they've done AI, man. It could be some human guy's done it. That could be, but I think they've done a video like that.
Fair enough. Yeah. I haven't seen it.
I'll have to show you. And if you know the video I'm talking about, it's a bit.
Here's a fun fact for you about ancient Egypt. So we are closer in time to Cleopatra, famous pharaoh of Egypt, than she is to the first pharaoh of Egypt. There's a fun fact for you for that. That's how long the ancient Egyptian reign was. This is just knowledge that I have in my brain.
Yeah, he's done the fact.
What, you've heard that before?
Yeah.
Mate, you need to, I don't know what I'm doing in my life.
Well, he was there. Ben was there. You got him right.
Yeah, you're cheating anyway. So
I went to school with her.
Yeah.
You're above. Yeah. The next one on the card, Jack Catterall Giyasov. I said it's the tough one to call, and so Harry, you can go first.
Giyasov points, I think.
I'm
going to do a Dave Allen last week. I hope Catterall wins.
Yeah,
but
I'm one that
Giyasov
tends to
points.
go with my head rather than my heart. But I just got a feeling that Catterall's going to do this one. I don't know why. I think we've seen some top performances from him, and I think I can't think of that many that you would count him out of in terms of performances where he's not been there or thereabouts, even in the losses. So I think he's just going to pip this one slightly, get a point decision win.
Yeah, I'm going point decision win for Catterall as well. I think the only fight really shown a poor performance in is our Barbosa's first junior fight.
Yeah.
He lost
I think
that.
it's close.
The first loss against Josh Taylor, in my eyes, he won that fight and should have been a world champion that night.
How that one judge can say that they've never heard of Jack Catterall.
Should have been an undisputed world champion, shouldn't he?
Yeah. He would have been undisputed champ.
Is that
Crazy. What could have been, what would have been. With that being said, Hamzah Sheeraz versus Alem Begic. Sheeraz going for his first world title. I'm going to go for a Sheeraz. I think he's going to pick up said first world title via probably a 3rd round stoppage.
4th round stoppage. I'm going to go for Sheeraz.
5th round, no joke.
Yeah, I think you're getting even odds on Sheeraz.
Here we go. Pick on Harry today, is it? Like, Jesus.
Getting a stoppage win. I'll go 5th round.
This is bullying in the workplace here, I think.
No.
Frank
Sanchez, Richard Torres Jr. Now this one, I mean, Harry, you've put your.
I think
your
Torres
hand on the
Jr.
line
stops
there.
him. I think I expect Sanchez to be there for the first 4 rounds and then will slowly go off.
And just walks out the ring.
Not walks out the ring, but he gets stopped in the latter rounds.
I think it'll be a points decision win to Richard Torres, but I think he's going to have a moment.
What about Junior?
No, his old man's going to step in his place. I think it would be a points decision win, but I think it might be there'll be a moment where he gets rattled a little bit and then comes back.
I'm going Torres Jr. decision as well. I'll go about 8 rounds to 4.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. Something around that ballpark. Whereas Harry's going 13. He's like Tony Bellew. He's already written 13-0 on his scorecard before it started. Oleksandr Usyk, Rico Verhoeven. Now this is one I think you probably could write 13-0 if you think it's going to go the distance. Do we think it's going to go the distance?
Channel called?
I think
The puncher's chance.
Look at that.
Correct.
I think it's going the distance. I think Usyk wins by decision. A comfortable decision. He probably wins every round.
12 rounds.
I think it goes all 12.
If it was a 10 rounder, I would agree, but
I think he pushes for a stoppage. I think he wins every round.
I think he takes his time and then he finds an opening and bang.
So what round do you reckon he stops him in?
7 or 8.
But if it was a 10 rounder, he wouldn't get a stoppage.
Yeah,
I agree. I think it'll be.
No, but you get a different mindset, don't you, with 12 rounds? Because even though it's 6 minutes extra, there's a different mindset approach.
I think he'll drop him sort of. Yeah, something around round 7 or so. He'll drop him and then he'll stop him a couple rounds later.
I hope he gets a stoppage as well, mind. Because if he doesn't, then you'll have some people going.
Yeah, I mean, it very well might be a case of where Verhoeven outperforms their expectations. And Usyk maybe underperformed, but I just get the sense he's got that relentless quality that will mean he'll have enough in his.
It's a part of the Zone Ultimate as well.
Yes, all pay-per-views are. So there you go, and the pay-per-view. It is a pay-per-view card. I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't be paying it if it were.
Really?
If I didn't have Ultimate, I wouldn't have been paying.
I think the 4 fights underneath the main event are good value, and you get to see Oleksandr Usyk.
You paid for Wardley Parker. Your perception of value is
that was
skewed.
the best 25 quid I've ever spent.
Yeah.
I paid for that, to be fair.
What?
Shocking.
I did.
And I had all the...
I was just excited to watch our main event. And I nearly fell asleep before I started.
Having for. And obviously we've got the big one coming up on pay-per-view soon as well. Tommy Fury, Eddie Hall.
Oh, I can't wait to preview that. Have you seen what DAZN have done, mine? The poster that they've put on like the pay-per-view is them as in a circus.
Yeah.
Beauty against the Beast. But it's the circus in the background. So even DAZN know there's a circus fight. But
there you go.
Don't worry, I'll get Sam's logins for his DAZN Ultimate that night.
You're more than welcome to it because I won't be watching it. If you guys like the sound of that, obviously looking forward to a big prediction coming in a couple of weeks for that one. But yeah, let us know what you guys think about this one. Do you think Usyk's going to get the job done, or do you think Verhoeven will have a few tricks up his sleeve? Let us know. Otherwise, we'll see you all next week.
Punches Chance. Punches Chance podcast.